Alrighty then. Well, what's up, guys? Hey, Jayz2Cents here. It's that favorite time of the week again. Tech Talk number
Ooh,
50.
50.
So, I want to point out, we're 15 minutes late today, but it's not our fault.
Not it.
Our guest is actually using an inferior product. You can see him right down there in the description. And anyway, we're going to play that intro, and then we'll get started into this.
Let's do it.
Sing it, Jerry.
What's
Sing
going
it.
on, guys? Yeah. Oh, welcome to Tech Talk. Oh, yeah. We do Tech Talk and talk about technology and things that aren't Tech Talk. But it's okay because people think they're cool, and some people don't think they're cool, but it's okay. Hit that like button anyways. Oh, yeah. Like a boss.
I like how my daughter's just sitting there staring like, hey, what's going on? You see, she's like, what is happening?
She's like, I'm on the internet. She's like, I live in a radio station.
Okay, watch your Tarzan, kiddo. All right, so anyway, why is there a kid in the live stream? Well, that would actually be because my wife's sister had a baby today. So the wife is over at the hospital visiting them, and I've got little Jay here today. You guys know her from the Nerd Block unboxings.
Unblocking.
Oh, yeah, the unblocking. She just corrected me. I don't know if you heard that. She's like, it's called unblocking. All right. So anyway, guys, we have topics today.
Oh, yeah.
Topics.
We've got a document and stuff. This is so exciting.
I know, and I actually have it up right here. Okay, so I guess we'll have to do the index, I guess. So,
Yep.
Jerry, I'll let you take the first one since it's close to, well, your realm, I guess.
It is. It is. All right. So everybody probably, if you haven't heard about it already, you've probably heard of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, right? Jay and I were going to talk a little bit about the controversy surrounding it right now because Jay was telling me he lives in...
First, tell everyone what ALS is.
So Lou Gehrig's disease, basically, it's basically a disease that attacks your nervous system. So the whole idea is, you're dumping a bucket of water over your head. You're basically showing support for people that have it. And then the thing is, if you're called out to do it and you don't do it, you're supposed to donate $100 to charity.
So
I've
really,
been called out, so don't even try to call me out again.
Wait. So are you telling me that the reason why they do it then is to keep from giving money to charity? That's kind of messed up.
Well, they still give the money to charity. I'm just saying,
Oh,
the rules are if you don't, there's a punishment involved because you're either drawing attention to it, which is a good thing, or you're giving money to it. So it's win-win.
Yeah, I like how everyone's like, Ubu's frozen, guys. Ubu's not actually live streaming from the bathroom. It's just a picture we put up there because I can't believe I have to point that out, guys.
Oh my God, Ubu on the toilet. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, so we're just waiting for Ubu to come back. Ubu disappeared. He was in Linux. His Skype wouldn't work with multiple video streams in Linux because he was running a version that was probably like written by some open source people overseas like 12 years ago. But he tried to boot into Windows, and we haven't seen him since. So we don't really know what happened. So I'm just going to assume his computer wasn't capable of booting Windows.
He's actually got a pretty decent computer, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, hopefully he comes back. But anyways, back to the ALS thing, right? The ice bucket thing. So Jay and I were talking a little bit about it today, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is cool because all the CEOs are doing it right now. You got Zuckerberg did it. You got Satya Nadella did it. You got, who's the other guy that did it? Phil Schneider, Apple, or Schiller? Phil Schiller? Who that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know who the hell that is. Oh, well, anyway, so Apple, he did it. And so I was like, oh, man, it'd be cool if I did it. But then Jay was telling me that there's actually a little bit of controversy around this. So Jay, tell me what you're seeing down there in Southern California.
Well, it kind of goes to show the difference in climate too. I mean, you're up in the a very wet state. I mean,
I'm surrounded by rivers and bodies of water. Yeah,
I live in the desert. So all over the news, there's actually been a lot of local agencies that have also been doing a lot of like. Okay, first of all, where I live right now, we're having one of the worst droughts ever on record. I mean, as long as record keeping's been around all the way back to like the mid-1800s, we're having the worst drought ever seen in history of this area. And there's a lot of organizations in this area too that also do a lot of water collecting for overseas aid and things like that. So they're kind of pissed off at people dumping water over their head, good clean water over their head for the sake of helping another organization. So it's like, oh, so you would kind of like take from this organization in terms of instead of donating good clean water, you're going to pour it over your head to help this organization. So it's kind of like a entitlement sort of thing, like group A is mad at group B, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and we don't see any of that up here in Washington because like I can just go get a bucket of water like out of a hole next to my house. I mean, water's everywhere here.
Right, and here every bit of water is imported. So like,
what if I said I was going to give up a shower though, Jay? What if I said instead of showering, I'm going to just pour a bucket of cold water over my head instead of using 8 gallons of hot water?
Why don't you go use like non-potable water from like some swamp? That'd be better.
Well, actually, I have a 50-gallon water backup that I keep, like my survival supply, and it's over 5 years old, which you're supposed to recycle it every 5 years.
Right.
So maybe I'll just use that.
Also, too, if anybody notices that Jerry's sound is out of sync, I don't know what the issue is. It's in sync on my end, and I don't know why when it encodes for some reason his audio is a little bit early. But unfortunately, because it's coming through as one stream, I can't delay the audio so it syncs up. Sorry guys, you just have to deal with it. Most people just listen to the stream anyway; they don't even watch it because
I'm just so loud. I'm like exceeding the sound barrier. That's how loud I am.
I think we have a guru here.
Oh, do we?
Okay. Let's see if we've got him in here. Let's try.
All right, hold on. Get him in. Let's do it.
All right. Hold on.
Oh, hold on. What's going on?
Oh boy, we actually have an Ubu, I think.
Oh, did he finally make it into Windows? Ubu!
What's up?
All right, let me go ahead and get you added in here. All right, Jerry. So keep talking. We were just talking about ALS and the water challenge and all that stuff. So keep going, Jerry.
Okay. So, anyways, in a nutshell, I wanted to do the challenge, and I'm still gonna do the challenge because even though people are pissed off about, come to Washington and collect water. Don't collect water down in California. Come to Washington and collect water. We got lots of it. We're surrounded by it. We have like rivers and stuff and all that. So I'm still doing it. I'm gonna do the water challenge.
Okay. So what's it gonna take for you to do it then?
So what I would like is, one, I've already been called out, but I'm going to allow a little bit of a change to happen here. If you guys can get this stream up to 1,500 likes right after the stream, right after we end the stream, I am going to go downstairs, I'm going to grab a bucket, I'm going to take every bit of ice out of my freezer, fill the bucket with the ice, fill it with water, and I'm going to go outside and record myself dumping it over my head. And it will be an Instagram posted right after the stream.
All right, so you guys heard it. There's no truffle shovel tonight, but there is a 1,500 dislike Jerry dumping water on his head. Who wouldn't want to see that? And
it'll be a total wet T-shirt contest. I'll go put on my old like white wife beater too, dude. I'll do it.
All right, so Ubu, I hope you don't mind. In the meantime, I took that Instagram photo of you on the toilet and used that as your picture until you got in here.
That was your picture on the stream.
Of course, I don't mind.
All right,
I appreciate you guys sitting tight.
All right, Ubu, you're talking to
Skype.
You're talking to about 1,000 people right now, about 20,000 potential rewatchers. Tell everyone who you are and where they can find you.
What is up? I'm Ubu, the tech guru, and I'm coming straight at you. How are you guys doing? I'm doing fantiddlyastic. And if you don't know, I do have a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/UbuntuAddicted. I'm on all the other social media sites. Twitter, it's at UbuntuAddicted. I got Facebook, Google+, so on and so forth. And I don't know, I do gameplay videos, I do commentaries, I do some technical type videos within Ubuntu, and I do live stream on Hitbox. I'm one of the people trying to make it on Hitbox, even though it seems a little futile, but it is what it is. And
you like going against the grain, though.
I do going. Yeah, exactly.
Ubu is a miter saw if I ever knew one. But there, guys, he's Ubuntu addicted pretty much on everything: Twitter, Facebook. Well, I don't think you have a Facebook fan page yet, but your channel, Hitbox. So, guys, you can find him there. If you are watching this on the playback, go and check out some of his stuff. You know what, Ubu? We give him a lot of shit for being a diehard Linux user, but if it wasn't for the diehards, none of us would have any sort of community. So, I applaud what you do, even though I will not use Linux myself.
I know.
Well, thank you very much.
And let's be honest, if it wasn't for Linux, we would have started the stream on time. I'm just saying.
No, actually, I think that's Microsoft's fault. They're the ones that make Skype, is it? Are they not?
No, they make Skype, but I don't know. Okay, is the Linux client created by them?
I think so.
It could be a port.
It could be a port. I'd have to check.
All right, so guys, that like button right there. If you want Jerry to drop, how much ice water is it?
I've got a bucket for like cleaning my car, so it's probably like a three gallon bucket.
Yeah.
I think you should clean your car and then dump the bucket on your head after you're done cleaning the car.
But then it wouldn't be cold though. It's got to have ice and stuff in it. I guess I could dump the ice in the soapy water afterwards.
But that's what I was saying. Like,
do you want me to like sit on the hood too? Do you want me to put some Daisy Dukes on?
Oh yeah, and then I want you to take your moobs and like clean the windshield, and I want a camera inside the car.
You know what else I want to do? I want to take the opportunity to challenge everybody else. If you don't live in a desert, don't do it if you live in a desert, because I'll never hear the end of it. But if you live next to a water supply and water is plentiful where you live, dump a bucket over your head. Put some ice in it and dump that bucket over your head. I want to see pictures and videos. Do it. Tag me in all of them too. I want to see them on Twitter.
All right. So we actually do have a document today. Ubu, you should have gotten a copy of that as well.
I did when I was booted into Linux. Can you resend it?
Jerry, can you DM that to him? Because I've got too much going on.
I got it. Just check your chat window there, big guy.
Okay. So we've talked in the past about Google Glass and all that stuff, and how some people are just like, kind of get offended when you walk in with camera and stuff on. Remember there was a woman who got like a first-person recorded angle of her getting an ass beating in the bar for wearing Google Glass? So somewhere in the world, and we'll just talk about where it was after the fact, because I think that's kind of fascinating too. Texting and driving is a bad idea. Texting and riding a bike, talented, bad idea. This guy was walking and texting at about 12:30 in the morning, and he accidentally bumped into someone going the opposite way. Two gentlemen walking the opposite way. He accidentally bumped in their shoulder, and let's face it, if you kind of want to be a mad dog, you kind of bump into someone's shoulder. It's like a statement, right? So I guess these guys took it the wrong way, didn't realize he was texting, wasn't paying attention, so they freaking stabbed this guy in the heart. Literally stab him in the heart because he bumped into their shoulder while texting. And of all places this happened, it happened in Toronto, Canada, eh?
What?
People
in Canada have knives? I'm appalled. I am appalled.
Yeah, so I guess it just makes me wonder too. I'm guilty of it myself. But sometimes in the morning I'll go get my coffee and I'm standing there waiting, and I'll look around and I'm checking my email, and I look up, and the 20 or 30 people in the store are all just sitting there looking at their phones.
I thought you were saying you're guilty of stabbing somebody. I actually kind of tensed up there a little bit. I was like, I've slept on your couch, dude.
Yeah, well, that's actually a topic for a different discussion. But
yeah.
No, so I just got to thinking about I don't know, the smartphones and the way that everybody's just so, I guess, encompassed in their smartphones to where nobody looks up anymore, nobody interacts, nobody talks.
Preoccupied for sure. Yeah.
And there's times where I'll look around and I'm like, oh crap, my phone's in my hand, and I'll seriously just put it away because I don't want to be one of those guys that's like, oh look, we're just sitting here talking on our phone. I don't want to pull a Jerry.
Oh, did you say something?
I don't know how many people I see when I go out to eat at dinner, literally, and there's a couple sitting across from each other with their fucking faces in their phones. It's like, really? You guys
they're Skyping each other from across the table.
Yeah. But the husband can't Skype the wife because one's on Ubuntu and the other one's on.
I'm never gonna let that down, I guess.
Yeah. This wasn't the time to have any Linux software failure.
Linux issues, yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, okay, but let's be fair though. It's not like I go without my issues. Although my issue today was a little different. I fired up the machine. Jerry noticed I was about 30 minutes late to when I'm normally online. So I came home and I went to fire up the machine, and I'm pushing the power button and nothing's coming on. I'm like, what the? So I go to turn on the mic preamp, nothing comes on. I look at the router, no lights flashing. I'm like, what the hell? My surge protector took a shit at some point between last night and today. So I had to do a mad dash to go grab a backup circuit protector and get everything replugged into power and get set up 20 minutes before the show. So when you saw me come on, guys, that was the moment I got back online, which was only 20 minutes before the show.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
So the fact that we were 15 minutes late, including your debacle, it's actually not that bad.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
You have some pretty patient viewers too, I do have to admit. Thank you very, very much, viewers, for sitting tight.
Oh, I think we lost about 65 subs in that hour.
Yeah, you kind of.
But for you guys, that's not that big a deal. For me, that's 10%.
We still don't like to lose them.
No, I know.
I don't know. It's funny too because when you become a larger channel, you start comparing your unsubs with other guys. Well, I only lost 100 today. Well, we lost 75. It's true story though, huh, Jerry?
It is too.
Hey, today I only lost 170. Not too bad. Oh, anyway. So yeah, but no, Ubu mentioned people are out to dinner, and it's like you can't even enjoy a nice dinner without your face in your phones. Now I've been guilty of that, but my wife and I, for the most part, because our dates are so far and few in between, we have a no phone rule. Put your phone in your purse, in your pocket, don't take it out. And every now and then, if I'm awaiting something very important from a potential client or a company I'm working with, I might just periodically check if I'm expecting something, and she doesn't get upset about that. But it's a very big no cell phones when we're on our date rule. So
I think that's a good rule to have, actually. But I'll be honest, every single time I've gone on a date, far and few between, I always go, I'm going to Instagram that. I'm gonna Instagram that.
Yeah, I'm really a culprit of that as well. Is like I see something or whatever, and I got to take a picture of it and tweet it out or something. I don't know.
I'm like, holy shit, ice cream truck. That's a fat joke. I gotta get that. You know, it's hard not to sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one. But you feel like this dedication to your audience as well, though. You know? But that's the thing, though. Don't let your audience start to feel more important than your spouse, because that's not going to lead to greatness.
Yeah. Your audience doesn't sleep with you. I mean, well, most of the time. I don't know. Maybe if you're PewDiePie or something, you get that arrangement.
But I guess that depends on your platform.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, depending on the platform, your audience very well may sleep with you.
Well, like a bed or a couch, or what kind of platform are we talking about here?
Craigslist is a interesting platform in itself.
That's true.
Anyway, so apparently, I don't know if you guys heard about this. I just heard about it. This guy apparently killed his roommate and then asked Siri where to bury the body, and that literally led to being evidence used against him. Did you guys hear about that?
No, but that's kind of like the thing you'd expect the guy that killed his girlfriend to do. I mean,
no, his girlfriend, his roommate.
Or his roommate?
His roommate. He and his roommate were arguing about an ex-girlfriend.
Arguing over an ex-girlfriend. Oh, no, people kill each other all the time over girls.
Yeah, but then you go.
That's normal.
I imagine this guy being like, "Oh my god, what do I do? What do I do?" In fact, we're gonna see right now what Siri says when you ask it.
I did it today. I asked Siri today, and she showed me 2 cemeteries close to me.
Let's see what happens here.
You know that's probably going to put you on like the FBI watch list.
That's what somebody said. They were like, "Hey, you want
where can I hide my roommate?"
You know, ask Siri where to bury a body. And of course, my dumbass has to go and do it.
Turn this up.
Let's see.
So Siri brought up all the web searches for murder accused. Murder didn't ask Siri. Murder asked Siri. So she's like bringing up all the news regarding her. Let's see. Where can I hide the body?
What, again?
What? This is not the first body you're hiding, Jay?
Yeah, what's going on, Jay? That sounded a little suspect.
I gotta go, guys. I gotta go.
Hey, Siri, where do I hide the body?
What, again?
Oh, yeah. Jerry.
That's kind of a little weird that's in there, because I've never heard that response.
And so
she must be, since it's from the server, she must be being flooded with that same question.
Let me think. Okay, I found this on the web.
Oh yeah, hey, she looked up if it's okay to commit suicide. Or not suicide, homicide.
Okay, so but now this isn't the first time Apple's Siri has gotten Apple into a little bit of in the news in a negative way. Remember when Siri first came out, and if you asked Siri what the best smartphone was, it linked you to the Galaxy? Do you remember that?
No, what?
I don't remember that. I never heard that. Wow.
Okay, so remember, Siri was a standalone product when it first came out. It was third party. You could buy it in the Apple Store, and this was back in like the 3G and 3GS days.
I do remember that. Yep.
And then Apple was like, "Hey, that's a pretty cool virtual assistant, so we want it." They bought Siri, and then they locked it out of all those devices, right? So in the beginning, it would just literally do like a web search for any voice command string that you gave it. So for a while there, like when the 5 first came out, it was, "Hey Siri, what's the best smartphone?" And it would bring up a web search for what's the best smartphone, and like the top 10 results were all about the Galaxy. That's awesome. So Apple went in and fixed it. So now if you ask it, it'll be like, "Why me, of course," or something like that. So I thought it was funny where it went in and fixed it because of that. I think this is one of those situations too where Apple went in and made some clever response, like, again? Because when investigators who learned about the story went and did the same Siri search, it brought up a list of, what was it? It brought up a list of swamps, reservoirs. Let's see, where was it? I should find it here. It brought up a list. This guy asked, and it brought up an entire list of places that you could hide the body. As she bring up the news article here, which is really funny because they took a screenshot of it thinking people wouldn't believe it. And
I bet you if he got away with the crime, though, like, he'd probably buy another iPhone. Like, the brand loyalty would be there at that point.
So it brought up an entire list of places. It says, what kind of place are you looking for? When the actual search was, I need to hide my roommate, it says swamps, reservoirs, metal foundries, or dumps. So it brought up a list of all of those potential places.
It was a good answer. I mean, you gotta applaud it for that. It's like, yes, you should bury them under 3 feet of concrete, preferably with lots of lye. Feed them to pigs.
Don't forget to encase the feet in cinder blocks.
Yeah, exactly. Don't use hydrofluoric acid. The Mythbusters confirmed that. It doesn't work.
Oh, man. All right, so since we're about to cross 1,000 viewers here, many people may have joined late. Jerry is going to be doing the ALS challenge, and if you guys are mad about him wasting water, please send all the hate mail to Jerry.
I'm not wasting water. I'm taking a shower. I'm taking a shower with ice cold water, okay?
He's already going to do the ALS challenge, but he will do it literally tonight, immediately following Tech Talk, if we can get to 1,500 likes during the stream.
Yep, 1,500 likes, and as soon as I log off this, I'm literally not even taking a piss first. I'm just going downstairs, grabbing the bucket, filling it up, taking it outside, and dumping it over my head and doing an Instagram.
You should take a piss in the bucket.
At first, I thought you said you were going to dump piss on your head.
Okay, that's what it sounded like you were saying.
If we get to 50,000 likes, I will piss in the bucket and then pour it over my head.
Can we not? Because this is all being driven off my channel.
That's why I said 50,000. Because at 50,000, I'd be okay with it. I'd be able to live with myself and look at myself in the mirror.
Oh, man. Nice. So, I know we're just kind of blitzing through the topics here because I want to get to a lot of viewer questions and stuff with the Ask Tech Talk. If you guys are on Twitter, Ask Tech Talk hashtag will get your question in. If you guys send it to me or you send it to me, Jerry, or even if you send it to Ubu, maybe Ubu will answer your question, but we are looking through Ask Tech Talk hashtag, not our direct tweets, so you may not get seen if you don't do that properly.
Yep, so. Hashtag Ask Tech Talk.
Now this is
T-A-L-K, not T-A-W-L-K.
What? Now this next article here I think is kind of close to home for all of us here. I know, Ubu, you've done some reviews. Jerry and I, we do quite a bit of reviews. And this one is specifically regarding a class action lawsuit being held against Yelp, specifically being filed by Yelp reviewers. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Yelp, maybe you're a part of the world where they don't use Yelp. Yelp basically is nothing more than a crowd reviewing platform where you can go in and find any business listed and write a review on that business. Mm-hmm. But it's intended to be people who've actually used the service, shopped at the store, something along those lines. And it's a place for people like you and me to go and get real, honest reviews from real product users or establishment, people who've experienced the establishment to get an idea of what to expect. So apparently somewhere along the line, this idea of a professional Yelp reviewer became a thing, right? Like a food critic.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I guess the problem here is that Yelp has gone as far as to pay some reviewers who have a larger social media following, like say one of us, for example, and actually pay for reviews. Now, the moment you do that, you lose credibility,
that's
right?
That's not good. Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Right. I don't know about Jerry. I'm pretty sure Jerry hasn't. I've never accepted a single dime to do a review on any product.
What he's talking about? I accept money for every review I do. I'm like, yeah, if you give me an extra $100, I'll say that I use it on Tuesday and Wednesday. And for an extra $150, I'll say that I use it while I'm on the toilet because that's my secret place.
You have like a tier-based endorsement project?
I do. I actually have a whole spreadsheet that I give to them, and I'm like, okay, and if I don't like your product, you have to give me an extra $500 to swallow my puke while I'm doing the review.
I got it.
It's itemized.
You know something, Jerry, that actually makes a lot of things make sense now.
Oh, does it?
It does.
Now everybody knows. No.
But no, in all seriousness, the moment you accept money for a review, you kind of lose credibility as a reviewer.
True.
Right? Because you at that point would be considered bought or sold out.
Exactly.
So the idea of this class action lawsuit is those people who have been leaving reviews on Yelp who are not getting paid are mad that they're not being paid and other people are. So they feel
Holy shit, so wait. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. Did you just say that they're actually mad because they're not getting paid because other people are getting paid to do reviews?
Absolutely.
On a review site that's designed for people to just go get... This is like me going on Amazon and like one guy gets paid by Amazon to do a review and everybody's like, no, my money.
Exactly.
That makes no fucking sense.
Now, this isn't the first time this lawsuit's actually happened. This lawsuit is filed in California, of course. California. I mean, go figure. So...
you're drought hippies. You're a bunch of drought hippies.
I'm telling you, man, the entitlement in this state is just ungodly. So anyway, they had this previous class action lawsuit. It went before the judge. It failed. It was tossed out of court this February. So what happens? Now they have a new plaintiff with a new set of lawyers resubmitting the exact same lawsuit. Now, I don't know what they expect to be different to actually happen, but I have a problem with this, and I left some notes in the document here. I'm like, okay, first of all, the elite Yelp reviewer provide a service to the site, and some are paid, so everyone feels that they should all be paid. First of all, what makes the difference between a regular Yelp reviewer and an elite Yelp reviewer? Right, I don't know about you guys. I mean, Ubu, if you open up Yelp and it brings up a gigantic paragraph of a review, do you read it or do you skip to the next one?
if it's a really big, gigantic one,
yeah,
I probably would read it. I'd read the first one, to be honest.
Okay,
I'm not familiar with the
depends.
site.
I'd read the big one too. Like if I was really interested in the product, I'd be like, oh, that's probably the guy that like did the most with it.
Right.
Research,
and chances are, if he holds this Yelp, elite type of status, he's probably going to be a sticky review. But my problem with that is most of the time I'm just looking for me personally. I'm looking for quick and dirty info. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that useful 2 or 3 sentences, or maybe a small paragraph, not a freaking book. Like the guy's doing a movie review. So
that makes sense. I can see people, the majority of people, probably skipping over the really longer ones and looking for the short little quick blurbs about the product. Definitely, that makes sense.
And, I mean, I do it at Newegg. I do it in Amazon, and I also look at that little button that says the number of people out of how many people found that review useful. Right, that's another thing too.
Right.
Like it says, 500 of 506 found this useful. Okay, this is probably a well-written review. I'll read it then. But my problem here then is the moment Yelp started paying anybody to do this, I think the entire site loses credibility.
No, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, last week, what was it? I did the article along with the rest of the internet on my site anyway about that hotel that was charging $500 per negative review against the wedding party. If anyone who attends their wedding leaves a negative review of their hotel, did you hear about that?
I did.
No.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jerry, you're having a wedding. It's this really nice, like cottage type hotel, right? It's like a small, like bread and breakfast type resort, but it's really nice. You're having a wedding. Let's say it's a $5,000 deposit.
Okay.
In the paperwork, there's a clause in there that says, for every negative review left against the establishment by anyone who attends your wedding, you forfeit $500 per review. That's in the paper.
Wait, you can put that in a contract? Well, I guess you can put anything in a contract, right?
It was put in the contract. But the thing is, this made national headlines. So what happened? People flooded Yelp and left them nothing but negative reviews. I mean, some people were talking about, like, it was really difficult to sleep with all the Nazi experiments happening in the next room over. I mean, there was like some really funny reviews. But the problem is now it sheds light on anybody can leave a review on anything without having ever had anything to do with the thing that they're reviewing. Granted, they deserve the negative reviews in terms of that policy.
It's kind of giving me ideas, though. I kind of feel like we should have contracts now, like have a video when you come to our channel, like the subscription video is like, if you unsub, you forfeit $500. like can we do that? Like, is that legal?
Who needs AdSense at that point?
Yeah, no, we don't even need AdSense. You just you just make a video of you like running naked through like a cul-de-sac and everybody leaves and you got like $5 billion.
So I'm kind of interested, though, of the viewers, how many people actually use sites like Yelp to make a real informed decision about something? Because we also know these companies will go in and make their own accounts to leave reviews on their own stuff.
And that's honestly been happening forever. Even before they were paid, people were doing review trolling. I mean,
like I see on TV, Angie's List is one.
Oh yeah, yep. Oh, don't forget FarmersOnly.com. I'm sure they're all only farmers. Have you guys heard about that one?
No.
FarmersOnly.com is a dating website for farmers, cowboys, and good old country folk.
So that's where you go to get the farmer's daughter. I've always wondered. Like, there's a website
and I love. You guys haven't seen that commercial? It plays out here like crazy, and we're not even in farm country here. We're in the freaking desert.
Right.
So it's this commercial that starts out with this woman walking and, like, she's got her hands out and she's kind of like walking over the wheat and rubbing her hands over it, and these 2 cows are like, oh look, she's out walking to farm again, oh she's lonely, she needs to get herself a man. And then it shows this guy. Wow. It shows this guy like riding a horse, like herding cattle, and they're like, he really needs to get himself a woman, and it's like FarmersOnly.com. It's like, what the hell is this shit? Oh I can't believe you guys didn't hear about that.
We do not have that up here. Up north.
We don't have it either.
People in the chat have seen that FarmersOnly.com. But what's funny is, like, the slogan is city folks just don't get it. That's their slogan.
Somebody else mentioned Christian Mingle. We do have that one up here all the time. It's like Christian Mingle, and it's like, what was their slogan or something? It's like doing God's work or something, like basically like God has they're God's website or something like that. Like,
they're the Reddit of God.
They're putting Christians together using one HTML5 Jesus approved application at a time.
Yeah, but I guess this article just made me realize I never really noticed it that I do it until I thought about this article, but I read reviews with a grain of salt. Just like people who watch my review or your review, Ubu, people should take what I say alone with a grain of salt, but compare it against what other people are saying. And if we're saying the same thing, then there you go. But if
I've never once only read one review though, like
Yeah.
you, Jay. It's like I scan through and I take an average, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I
you
go
gotta
through, and
take
then the
it all
other
in.
thing is I have little things in my head that go off, like especially on Amazon. Amazon's really fun for reviews because people love to troll Amazon. Like people have reviews like, oh yeah, I bought this, I jammed it up my ass and it hurt. So yeah, I don't like it. 1 star, and
I
it's
think-
like a candlestick holder or something.
I think you and I hang out in different parts of Amazon, Jerry.
Probably. I'm not gonna lie, probably. But anyways, I read these things and they're hilarious. Like you saw the $120,000 TV where people were like complaining about it, like, oh yeah, it didn't fit in my room and I couldn't remove the bracket off it, so I had to like put it in the bedroom. So I'm pretty upset about that 1 star. It's like, or the one guy's like, I had to buy 2 of them, and stack them on top of each other because I couldn't get the angle right. I mean, the reviews are hilarious, but I go through and I look at the small and the big ones. And if I see a big one that doesn't have cons where it's 100% pro, I immediately throw it away. Because there's no such thing as a product on earth that is flawless. There just isn't.
You have me looking up some of the reviews now for this hotel on
Dude,
Yelp because some of them
there's-
were so funny. Oh man, give me a second here. Negative reviews. Oh, it's called. So it was the Union Street Guest House, is what it was called. Quick, Jerry, talk about something while I look this.
Well,
up.
here I'll just tell them about some of the other reviews. So,
Okay.
what was the one on the Amazon? I'm trying to remember for that TV. There was one. Oh yeah, the guy's like, yeah, for my 16th birthday, my dad got me this TV or something like that, and it blew the breaker in his room or something like that and burned their house down, and he's very unsatisfied. It's like
Oh
1
my
star. or the best one ever is holy, all in caps. It was just one sentence. It was like, holy shit, this makes porn people life size. I love it. 5
Jeez.
stars. But those reviews, like they crack you up, and they're usually on the stuff that's stupid expensive, right? Like the Martin Logan speakers that are like $300,000 a pair and stuff like that.
Oh
Did you
wow.
find one?
Yeah, but they've actually been able to like clear a lot of these off.
Oh, they're cleaned up. That's the other thing too, is Amazon will do that too. If you send mail, to
They
Amazon,
still only have
about it, they'll clean it.
They still only have 1.5 stars. There's still quite a few in here. Let's see.
So the Victorious B said Jerry will eat brownies at 2,000 people on live. Dude, I'll eat brownies like now if I had some. Like I don't need 2,000. Yeah, I'll dump ice water on my head at 1,500, but at 2,000 I'll eat brownies. Like, dude, I'll eat brownies at 1. And if I'm the only guy in here, I'll eat brownies. Love me some brownies.
The entire place had a kind of down on its luck feel.
Oh,
Has
that's a good
cockroaches in all caps. Has cockroaches. Oh man.
I'm wondering if we're gonna hit that 1,500 likes now. Let's see. Are you still looking for the reviews? Let's see.
I am.
What else is going on with the Yelp thing? We've got tons and tons of stuff in the document here. Let's see. So businesses writing their own reviews under false names, right? That's happened forever. And I've actually know some people at businesses that have done that and bragged about it. And as far as you talked about the sites losing their credibility, that's the thing is, like, a site like Yelp, they're basically trying to become the Better Business Bureau without the Better Business Bureau. Like basically anybody can just go say anything they want anytime, and there's no background check. And what's stopping people from creating multiple accounts? I mean, we have people that literally will create 10 accounts just to come back under each one and leave one more comment on a video. Like, it seems to me like if they'll do that just for that satisfaction, why wouldn't somebody do that to like boost their product?
Yeah.
Like if I got one bad review or something like that, what's stopping me from creating 20 accounts and being like, oh, don't listen to that other guy, it was so great, oh my god, it was so good, oh, it's the best ever. I mean, they don't
jumping on
yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's the thing, is because what do you need with a site like that? You probably need an email address, right? So and last I heard, Google just give those out. Yeah, Google just gives those away at like an alarming rate. So
that's too bad. They've removed like all of the funny ones. One, it's just funny. One was talking about like Nazi experiments happening in the room next door, and that was okay until the blood started seeping through the walls, and it was like, oh my god. Oh man, it was funny. They had like 800 negative reviews on that first day of that report going out.
Dude, that's some BS though. Like, that should almost be like, they got sued. Did they get sued for having that in the contract? Because they should have.
Well, here's the thing. They tried to backpedal and say it was a joke. They're like, oh no, guys, we were just kidding. We were just kidding. But then one person actually showed their document from like back in 2010 when they had their wedding, and it was in there then.
You know where you don't joke? On legal documents.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
You don't like go get like divorce paperwork and just put like just kidding at the end, or put like some cheeky joke in there. It's like I still get sex on every other Wednesday or something like that. You don't. Legal documents are legal. You sign them for a reason. You're basically saying you agree with everything that's in there. It's like you don't joke in your will and be like, yeah, when I die, please feed me to pigs. That would be hilarious. And then you die and somebody actually does it, and you're like, shit. Well, I guess they're safe.
All right, guys.
You haven't been watching Deadwood, have you, Jerry?
No, I haven't, but
Is that where you got the pig eating from? Okay. Or the pigs eating humans? Man, Deadwood was such an awesome show. Oh my gosh.
No, it was a movie. What was it? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
Okay, yeah, that one too, yep.
The old dude that just loved to feed everybody to his pigs? Oh, right, God, that's awesome.
All right. So, obviously, we've talked about this before, and there's two topics in this one here. It's actually the Business Insider did a poll in the United States here of average internet speeds, which state has the fastest speeds, which state has the slowest speeds. And it got me thinking, this chart caps out at 13 megabits and bottoms out at 7 megabits. So I guess that's the average, between 7 and 13 megabits. That's pretty freaking atrocious.
Only a few cities actually have really fast stuff. Yeah, Comcast isn't I don't think Comcast is the largest provider in the United States by like even close.
All right, so real quickly, let's just say what our connections are. I've said it before, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't know. I normally had a 50 down, 5 up, and I'm on Time Warner. Time Warner recently updated all of their data center to nodes with a fiber, and then it's copper from the node to the house. The node happens to be in my backyard. There's only 4 houses on it. They upgraded us to 100 megabits, so I get full 100 down, and I actually get 6 up of my advertised 5. So I'd like more up, but the down is really nice. That's why my kid right here is able to be watching her Netflix while playing on her game while I'm streaming, and God knows what else is going on in the house.
Nice. I have 30 down and 5 up from Time Warner Cable as well.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, Time Warner doesn't have anything faster than 5 anywhere in the nation.
No, they don't. Yeah, I called and complained. And they actually used to only have, like, you could get turbo and get 1.5 up.
Right. I had that.
That was like a year ago. Yeah. And it was like, what? That's the most you can give me is 1.5. And they're like, you have to be a business to get, our higher upload. Right. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like, oh, now we can give you 5 upload. And it's like, what did you guys change that you couldn't give it to me last month?
There's literally
they're holding back.
There's literally resistors, it's an actual physical resistor in the coaxial that they install at the nodes that stops the connection. I'm not even joking.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And I know that because when they actually updated my internet, they had to come in my backyard, climb up the pole, and pull it off of my coax.
Oh, take a picture of it so I know what it looks like. I'll take it off my backyard.
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
See you out there on Instagram, you holding like some lawn shears or something like, I'm getting this bitch off here.
So they had brought over the new Motorola Surfboard. Their what they call their wideband, right? I think that's what yours is called, the wideband. Yeah. So all right, Jerry. Now tell everyone about your truncated system over there.
I have the weirdest internet connection ever. So here's my internet connection. I have 3 internet connections. I have 2 cable modems and 1 DSL.
And the reason why is a perfect prelude to this article.
What do you mean?
The reason why you have 3 connections is going to tie in directly to this article I'm about to talk
perfect.
about.
Okay. Well, let me explain first. Let me go back just a little bit. So when I first acquired the 3 internet connections, it was because the fastest I could get on cable was 15 down and 2.5 up. So I basically had 2 cable connections to get me like 30 down and, the equivalent of 5 up, which would be more like what Jay has. It took 2 cable modems to do that. And then ping was so horrible on the cable network that I actually went and got a DSL because the DSL had very, very low ping, but the DSL was like 27 megabit, but it was only like 1.75 up or 1.5 up. The upstream was atrocious.
Right.
So I have these 3 connections. Well, then I find out that a new internet company moves in and buys the other little mom and pop internet company. And now they're offering 100 down and 10 up. So I have one of the cable modems updated to that. The other one's still 15 down, 2.5 up, and the DSL still 27 down. So I have all these connections all over the place. So a company called Mushroom Networks actually stepped in and helped me. And I'll be doing a review of their product here pretty soon. They basically gave me a hardware appliance that takes all 3 of those internet connections, hardware bonds them together, and then pushes them basically like through a VPN.
It's an internet refrigerator.
And then I come out from another spot, roughly near Seattle in Washington, through a giant data center. But the cool thing about it is it makes me DDoS proof because all the traffic coming to my house is vetted through the data center. So all ICMP ping packets come in through their OC45 trunk line or whatever. And so
the moment the data center sees those packets, they just reroute them.
Right. So you basically have to be able to take down Amazon to take me down, which I think's awesome. Now the downside to that, of course, is I'm paying for 3 internet connections and I don't have a job anymore. So I'm like, this is going to become problematic down the road because I think the sum total of all 3 internet connections is like $150 a month. And if it wasn't for Mushroom Networks basically helping me out by providing me the service free of charge for like a year, I'd be paying like $250 a month out of pocket to have that business level bonding that they're doing. It's like, so my hat's off to those guys for like helping me out and helping the channel out, especially since I got laid off.
Okay.
But yeah, crazy internet connection, right? But now I finally got reliable internet because literally cable can go down, DSL can go down. I always have an internet connection. It'll automatically load balance back and forth. It's really cool.
Now on the screen right now, I have a full screenshot going of the website, and this is the list of the states in order. So the number 1 state in the United States in terms of average speed is Virginia with 13.7 average megabits down. They didn't test up, and I think that's because up is throttled way too much by the ISPs versus down. Yeah. So Delaware coming in second, then Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and DC.
Does it say anything about them being DSL as their primary internet? Does it say what the primary? Because cable is DSL is really slow in most of the country. I mean, you have to be really close to the switch, right, to get high speeds.
It didn't say.
I mean, DSL still uses the phone line, right?
Yeah, and and it's like distance sensitive. It's like if you're more than like 1,500 feet away from the switch, you could drop from 27 megabit down to like 1 megabit.
What I think is funny though is that the national average of the highest national average being Virginia at 13.7, I just makes me wonder because California came in 20th with an average of 10.9 down, and I'm 10 times that speed. So, like you said, it just really makes me kind of wonder.
I think it's wrong, though, because I think what they're doing is they're going by what people have, not what they can potentially have.
Well,
like if your mom's going to have like a 1 megabit connection, why pay more than $19 a month for like the least internet connection?
But I think that's an average. Sure. I think that's an average poll, though. It also goes to show the average speed and also what people are willing to pay for it. So I think it's an average poll because pricing also differs across the country. My sister up in upstate New York can get the same speed I can for half the price. In the same provider.
Yeah, because I know somebody who has Google Fiber.
Yeah,
it's like I know one person that has Google Fiber online, and I think it's a gigabit down, 250 megabit up, or something like that, and he pays $29 a month for it, US.
Well, yeah, because fiber is so cheap to actually, the infrastructure is super cheap.
But what I don't get is how can it be so cheap when you still have to go through the rest of the old copper infrastructure to get to half the sites? It seems like they're poisoning you to consume massive bandwidth that's like already struggling. It's almost like everybody's becoming Netflix now.
But the other side of this conversation that I wanted to talk about, as you guys can see in the document, is there's another part of this that matters when it comes to your overall internet experience, and that's not just the bandwidth. It's also the ping. And with your Mushroom network, although it's really good, you notice that there is a little bit more ping involved because of your route.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now look at it this way. If you guys want to know what the difference between ping and bandwidth is the size of the conduit and how much information you can get into the conduit. Ping is how long it takes to make it to where it's going. Now, for it to get to where it's going, depends entirely on the data center routing. Those routes are constantly changing. They're not taking the same path to get to, from California to Boston or wherever the data center may be of the service that you're connecting to. You may also have some inefficiencies happening in a data center along the way. And rather than it switching route and routing you to the most efficient path, it may keep that path and have a very horrible ping or response time with that data center. So you have a really slow dispatcher, if you will, slowly handing the information out back into the net, which could make you think, damn, I've got 100 megabit connection. Why is everything loading slow? So I think people get too caught up on bandwidth versus ping as well.
No, and that's one of the reasons why DSL often has lower ping. Now, cable's caught up a lot because they're closer to the back end, but the telephone system is still largely the large. I mean, it is the largest conduit that the internet travels through. I mean, the telecom companies own that. So the DSL lines are going right into the trunk. I mean, if you do a trace route on a DSL line, some of them you might have 2-3 hops to get to a site like Google or Amazon. I've been on a cable modem before where it's like it jumps to the provider, it jumps to another place in the same city, another place, and there's like 15 jumps.
Right.
Before you get back to before you get to the trunk line. And by trunk, I mean the largest conduit that leads you out on the internet. That's usually owned by the telecom company. So the phones usually had faster pings because they would just literally be jumping right into the back end because they owned it. But I've noticed cable has gotten faster though, Jay.
Oh, cable is super fast now. I mean, when we first
never
got
used to
it,
be, though.
see, I live in an area where DSL is not available, fiber is not available, and the only option would be something like AT&T Uverse, which is like I done through a satellite, I believe, or maybe it's DSL. I'm not even sure. But we have Dish Network, DirecTV, whatever their dish service would be for their broadband, which is nothing like being wired, and then Time Warner. So. You know, we have no choice in the matter.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Jay. Yeah, there's really no other options. I went with AT&T Uverse for a little bit, and I don't think it's satellite. I think it's the same. It's cable.
Yeah, you might be right.
And know if it's satellite. It's a minimum 2 second.
But when we first got it, it was one of those things where like between 5 and 9 p.m. it was super slow because everyone was jumping on it, and of course, you know, cable and coaxial was so. At the edge of its bandwidth capabilities, hold on, kiddo, on its bandwidth capabilities that during prime time things slowed down and we didn't get our advertised speeds at all.
Well, here, let's do something really quick. Everybody open up a console window and just ping Google. I just want to, because, you know, Google
what
probably
I don't understand is why is America so far behind? Like, I have a friend, an online friend, Swoop 2000, and he has this insane connection over in, you know, the UK, where it's like 200 down and 50 up. Why are they
Ubu,
so far ahead of America? Like, I don't.
No,
get that.
I agree. What the hell's up with that? Because I have a friend who's he's one of my earliest subscribers, Whipspeed. He's got a really cool YouTube channel too. He actually has like fiber. I think his connection's like hundreds of megabits down and hundreds of megabits up.
Yeah,
and then was it Canadian Kernel? I think has like 250 megabit down and over 100 megabit up. But their upstreams are ridiculous. Like down here, they squander our upstreams so bad in the United States, and everywhere else they have like the same upstream that they do downstream. It just bugs the shit out of me.
You know,
why do you think they're doing that?
I wonder.
Why do you think they're capping the upload?
I honestly think it might have a lot to do with the infrastructure. We were having a discussion. I remember who was having a discussion. It might have been here on Tech Talk. I can't remember. We were talking about the bullet trains and how fast they are in Europe versus here, and you can attribute the quality of the rail in Europe to World War I and II, where the rails were targeted, in terms of war. So the rails had to be rebuilt, so they were much better rails. Although you could pull a railroad spike out here in California, and it could be dated 1814, something stupid, or 1860s or something like that. And the rails here are super, super old. But I think the infrastructure in Europe, too, a lot of the poles and a lot of the telephone lines and stuff, were also rebuilt with these cities. So I think they have, even though we're talking the 1940s and 50s, up through the 60s in these rebuild efforts, the United States has never experienced any sort of an infrastructure destruction like Europe has. So I think that their infrastructure is just 100 years newer than ours in many aspects. I mean, I'm not even kidding. There's some parts of Southern California here that are so into their old heritage that they still have freaking telegraph lines coming into the city. I'm not even kidding.
I want some telegraph internet, man.
I'm not even kidding.
Beep, 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 beep. Hey, what was your ping, Jay?
It doesn't really count because I'm streaming, and she's bringing down movies and stuff. So, and I'm also watching.
Come
our
on,
stream.
what was your ping? Let's just hear it.
Wait,
come on.
I didn't do it. Where's your
open
link?
up command window. Just ping Google. Just ping Google.com because Google's like you know they have the best routes like on the internet. Like period. They'd have to. I'm just curious to see because I 26 was my best, 33 was my average.
52 while streaming, 52 every time.
Okay, so you're saturating a lot of your upstream. That's another thing that we should probably talk about too. Is that
can I hear Jerry and say hi?
Hi, kiddo.
She's like, I want to talk to Jerry.
She's my biggest fan.
When I ping by the IP address, Jerry, my average goes down from 30 down to 16. Because it doesn't need to resolve the address anymore, right?
The resolution of the address shouldn't play into it at all, because once it's resolved to the IP, that's when the ping happens, not before.
Yeah.
So that's really weird. But the other thing people should know too is just like Jay demonstrated, is your ping actually is also affected by how many packets you're sending out and the speed that you're sending those packets out. So like basically, if you're saturating your pipe, your ping is going to go down.
Right.
If you could get a 7 ping with your clean internet, but if your router's having to deal with a ton of other traffic, then that's going to slow things down. They can slow them down a lot.
Yeah, because I actually have our stream playing in two windows right now. I have it playing in the preview window in my control panel. I have it playing so that I can see the comments. I'm also streaming video to both of you guys at the same time while accepting your video streams. Right. She's got Flash stuff up over here on this machine, and she's also watching Netflix while all this is going on.
You know what else beats up your ping time too? I noticed this on one of my routers. I enabled QoS, the quality of service stuff. Right. That's supposed to balance your house, and my ping times actually went up by like 12 to 15 milliseconds. And it could have been because of the Linksys router, but I'd imagine it's because of all that overhead of the router having to go, oh, this is what's going on the network. Am I going to let it pack it through now or later? And it's all that decision making that adds to that trip.
Right. I also have three wireless bridges here in this house due to the size of it. And my house is built in '63, so there's no built-in Ethernet anywhere in the house.
Yep.
So I have a lot of wireless bridging going on too. So that I actually have to slow down my main router to deal with the bridging. So I'm not getting the full gigabit on my network itself either. So I don't know how much of that's being affected. And I'm running
oh, sorry, go ahead.
And I'm running through a switch that's going to a bridge that's going to my main router. So I've also got several jumps before I even get to the internet.
Yeah, and the jumps in your house, I mean, aren't that bad. I've actually jumped through like 4 switches in my house before on a 100 megabit network, and it might added like 2 ms.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a lot. But I'm seeing a lot of people over here in chat saying that they have single-digit pings. The thing I'm curious about is how many people here have their cable modem connected directly to their computer, and how many people here are actually going through an access point or a router. Because I noticed this with my one cable modem. I was having a problem with it once. It basically wasn't cycling. So I plugged the laptop directly into it, got an IP through DHCP, pinged Google, and I was getting like a 3 or 4 ms ping. The second I connected back to the router, I was back up in the 20s.
Oh, yeah. So do you think your
sense.
switch really takes up that much your ping speed?
It just depends. I think it depends, like just how good your switch is, how fast it is, how it's configured. It's like if you're having ping problems, guys, try connecting directly to your modem, see if they go away, because it could be your router.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
it could just be a junk router.
That's the other thing too. Yep. Yeah, it's how many people are running a really old router. I mean, that's when I went to wideband. One of the first questions they asked me was, "Well, what router are you planning on using?" And, I mean, I'm using an N600 from Netgear, which is a pretty decent router. Granted, it's 4 or 5 years old.
I have that router. I'm not using it, but I have one. Are you running DWRT on it too?
No, it's not running an aftermarket firmware.
Okay.
Just because I wanted the simplicity of doing the bridging. I bridged it 4 years ago with the other two, and I just left it. But I haven't experienced any adverse effects with it, other than the fact that I have to reset the wireless on it like once a week because the wireless will just go down, and then a reboot of the firmware.
Someone needs to design a wireless router you don't have to reboot every week. Like everyone I've ever owned, I have to do that. I swear.
Well, and we have very expensive sonic walls for our wireless in our offices too, and even the sonic walls need to be reset too.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that, but I've yet to find a router that you just turn on and it just goes forever. You always seem to have to plug and replug those damn things.
I was actually quite shocked. Time Warner Cable, when I went and upgraded my internet to the 5, the 30 down and 5 up, they actually gave me a modem / router from Aris, ARRIS. Mm-hmm. I don't know the exact model number, but it actually is really capable. It's a really capable router modem. I mean, I can do all my virtual server port forwarding. I can, it's just as good as my Linksys or Netgear router, consumer router. So I can change everything I want about it. That's what I think is really cool. So I don't have that extra jump that some people do with the modem and then the router.
Yeah, and when I went to wideband, they gave me that that surfboard combo that's a wireless and router built into the modem. And what's funny is I had to disable that in order for me to do my bridging with my N600s. And what's actually funny is the amount of technicians who had absolutely no clue how to use it.
No, that cracks me up. Like I've had that happen too. The guys come out to your house, all they really know how to do is plug in the modem and do an IP config renew. And that's pretty much the limit of what they do, most of them. Yeah, I mean, I've had some really good guys too.
Because I had the bridge already established before we went to wideband, and I asked them too. I said, okay, they're like, okay, well, it's up and running now. We'll just take your router out. I'm like, whoa, hold up there, cowboy. We're not taking anything out of here. I have my network set up in a specific manner in which I want to keep it. So I want you to disable any of the built-in router or wireless functions in this thing. And he was like, oh, I don't know how to do that. So you're going to have to call tech support. I called tech support, and I had to get to level 3 before anyone knew how to do it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I just remembered something kind of cool too about cable modems. If you guys, if you do LAN gaming or something with people in your neighborhood, try this. It's hilarious. Take your cable modem, disconnect it, literally take it over to their house and put it on a coaxial splitter. The modem will still connect up and you will still get your full bandwidth. You can actually have multiple cable modems on the same line. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now.
That still get their full bandwidth?
They get their full bandwidth because you're not capped by the coax itself. Right. The coax is capable of carrying over a gigabit. What you're capped by is the freaking modem. So you literally put a coaxial splitter on there from Radio Shack. They're like $1.99. Hook up both modems, and you'll get an IP from each modem. They'll both sync up, and you'll get your full bandwidth off of both modems.
But it won't happen at your location, guys, if you put 2 modems up because of the MAC addresses to your service. So you'd have to take it to somebody else's whose modem has a separate MAC address and a separate service, and then you could bridge them together through a network like Jerry's doing.
All the modems have a different MAC address, though. So like me, I have 2 cable modems on the same network from the same provider, and they have 2 different MAC addresses.
Yeah, but for me, I actually tried that once. For me, when I hooked the second modem up, they both went down. Only one would work on Time Warner. So
really? So I wonder if in place.
Yeah, something in their infrastructure at Time Warner where it'll, if they know you're only paying for one cable modem, so they're only going to register that one MAC address.
Right. It's the same reason too why if I go to say when I go to like the Time Warner store to swap it or whatever, and I go to hook it up, I have to call customer service and have them over the phone activate it.
Oh, you're talking about provisioning. You only had one modem provisioned though. They weren't both provisioned, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you can't just like connect the cable modem anywhere and it works. So it has to be provisioned within the network.
Right.
But like for me, I have basically on my account, I have 2 separate cable modems on my account, and they're both provisioned. So I can plug them in the same coax at my house. I can take one to a friend's house as long as they're on the same network. They have to be within obviously.
My question to you is, if you took your cable modem to somebody else who has a different service, it wouldn't activate. I assume that at that point.
Yeah. If they were different, if it was a different cable provider, obviously it wouldn't work. They don't share the infrastructures that closely. But like if you went next door to your neighbor's house, it would work in tandem with theirs. Off of their
Chances
coax.
are, if you're on the same, if you both have Time Warner cable or you both have AT&T Uverse, right?
Exactly. But the thing is, and I thought that this was really weird, is my cable company was like, well, we can't go higher than 100 megabit on your modem because that's our biggest plan. But they'd be more than happy to give you another modem at 100 megabit, like up to 4.
Right.
So you could have 4 modems on a splitter coming off of your coax and actually get 400 megabit down, just not any one modem doing it. And I always thought that was funny because I was like, well, what's the difference between just having one modem updated to do 400 megabit?
What I think is really funny too is the difference in pricing between the so-called small business internet and home internet, and it all comes down to their guaranteed uptime. But like at work we have Verizon Fios and it's 100 by 100. And
Fios is cool. Yeah, we've got that up here too.
Yeah, it's 100 by 100. We have about 35 employees using it, including a point-to-point. That point-to-point only gets a 10. That offshoot point-to-point in our satellite office, it's about 600 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
They only get 10 by 10 because there's 10 people in that office. But what I think is funny is the fact that you could get a 100 by 100 residential plan for $100.
Yep.
Our 100 by 100 business plan is $1,500 a month.
Is there a bandwidth cap on the home plan?
What do you mean by bandwidth? I mean, it's 100 by 100.
Like for instance, with mine, I have 100 down, 10 up on my one cable modem, but it's a 2 terabyte cap. If I go over that, I have to pay. I think it's like $10 for 400 gigabytes.
No, I still live in the land of unlimited data.
Okay, see, I have unlimited grandfathered in on one of my modem, on my cable modem, and then I have unlimited on my DSL. But my hotline, my 100 down, that one I actually have to pay if I go over 2 terabytes.
Wow, who is that? What provider's that?
Can't tell you.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
so
bullshit,
it's like
dude.
a little ma and pa service. So
Time Warner is one of the few that still offer unlimited data, which we're hoping stays around because of the whole Comcast thing. Because Comcast is notorious for putting data caps on there. So while the rest of the world is going towards super fast gigabit connections and unlimited data, the United States is kind of going the other way and being archaic and wanting to, limit everything because now the government wants to get involved. That's a whole different topic. All right, guys. So for the last 20 or so minutes here, I just kind of want to do a topic blitz here where we'll let everyone in the chat or on Twitter, hashtag AskTechTalk, ask their questions. Jerry's looking at the Twitter. I'm looking at the comments. If you guys have just joined us, once again, you have no idea who the guy in the yellow shirt is. His name is Ubuntuaddicted or Ubu the Tech Guru. Check him out on Twitter. Check him out on YouTube. It's all Ubuntuaddicted. He is the only guy on the internet pushing Linux at the level he is. I promise you that.
Well, can I start out the questions then? Because I received a question from somebody about Linux.
Do it.
All right. So at Jarek Oval asked me on Twitter, what are my thoughts on other distros besides Ubuntu? And for those of you that aren't familiar, distros are distributions, and it's just basically a different flavor, but it still at the base has the Linux kernel. So it has, maybe different window manager and whatnot. And my thoughts on other distros besides Ubuntu are, that's the great thing about Linux. Whatever floats your boat is, what you can go with.
Even if that boat is the blood of babies.
There's a lot of them, though, Ubu. How many distributions do you know of?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, there's probably 50 distributions or more. I mean, I could name off like 5 really quickly.
So wait, do you guys have like distro battles where like, no, our Ubuntu is better, or our Linux is better? No,
they do.
our
Linux people fight hardcore over which distribution.
Oh
is
yeah,
better.
definitely.
That's why they.
Like,
that's
I
why
got
they're
RPM packages. I can do this.
That's
I can
why.
do that.
So that's why they're always like, screw you, Microsoft guys. We don't have time for you because we're in civil war.
Civil war. Yeah. I used to run. Ubu, you know, I don't know if I ever told you, but I used to be like a hardcore Linux guy. Like prior to going to Microsoft, I used to run.
You did not share.
Oh yeah,
that
I used to run 15 years ago. Yeah, no, I was running Debian on almost everything. I had
Well,
Windows on one machine. Everything else was running Debian.
Ubu, that's why he's
Nice.
willing to get into the conversation, because he's used it enough to at least be able to talk the talk. I don't. I mean, so that's why I don't really get into that conversation other than to heckle.
Oh yeah,
bit.
man, Lilo bootloaders and comp files. I even built my own kernels back in the day, because remember back then you had to actually go and build your kernel to get the modules into it. You're like, oh, I got a Sound
The
Blaster.
drivers you wanted, right? Yep.
But
Yeah.
I have to say this though, if it was that shitty, you wouldn't be using it as diehard as you are. You would have probably jumped ship by now. And I know it's not a matter of free OS because you have a Windows boot, so you have the option right in front of you. So at least the fact that you're still using it gives it some credibility.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a dual boot system. I have Windows 7 that I did purchase. That sadly, but the only reason I purchased it is for AAA games like Titanfall, Battlefield 4.
Because you got tired of being left
like
out of
that.
those titles.
Right,
He got tired of playing SimCity and Farmville.
Hey, come on now. There's some AAA games. Metro Last Light. We got The
didn't you
Witcher
guys just
2
get Doom
recently
2?
came. Doom 2. Oh, jeez.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein, I heard, just came out
Right.
Oh my god.
Yep.
in all of its 8-bit glory.
Well, so just to finish off this guy's question, whatever Linux distribution that you want to use, more power to you. I think that's the great thing about Linux is it's so configurable and so versatile that you go with whatever you enjoy, and that they're all free, so you could try as many different distributions as you want. In fact, I went to distrowatch.com just to answer Jerry's question quickly. There's 100 distros in a list of popularity, and currently Mint is actually ranked number 1. And Mint is just it's kind of an offshoot from Ubuntu. They're Debian based. There's really four main Linux like cores, either Debian based or Red Hat based, or not Red. Is that Red Hat? I'm not sure if that's the right term. Yeah, Red Hat based. I'm not sure. They're like Fedora is Red Hat based. SUSE is
Fedora. Yeah. SUSE was, I liked SUSE last time I tried it because SUSE was a more UI friendly, and I've heard the same thing about Mint. I heard Mint is the most user friendly of all the distributions. Basically, you can install packages, you can build stuff all from just clicking on managers on the desktop. Like you don't have to ever drop out to a bash shell and like GCC compile stuff. It's all just built.
I've learned something tonight.
Yeah.
What's that?
Asking Ubu about anything Linux is like asking you about anything 3D printing.
It's very, very true. It's very, very true.
Next question. Max Ritchie says, I have a major question for you, Jay, and I need it answered really badly. My question is,
you better get on that.
Should I overclock my CPU? The i7
No,
4770, it's currently at 3.4 because it is 780 Ti. If it's not a K, you're not going to overclock it very far anyway. If you don't have a Z87, at least a Z series motherboard, you're not going to be overclocking it very far. And even when you do overclock it, depending on the games you're playing, you're probably not going to notice the frames per second difference on your 780 Ti anyway. If you're wondering if you're bottlenecking, punch yourself in the face because you're not bottlenecking at all. But if it's a K SKU, I always say overclock it if you can control the temps, because why the hell not? It's free power. All right, Jerry, go. Twitter.
Free power. Woo! All right. Do any of you guys have VLANs in your home or work networks? Well, since my home is my work now, I will say no, I actually don't use VLANs, but I do have the capability to use them. And for people that don't know what VLANs are, it's like having two separate networks running over the same wires. Yeah. You're basically having the routers simulate networks and separating them so that you can control access.
And we are...
Yep, go ahead.
And we are in my office because we have 6 offices in the United States and Canada. And all of them operate on a VLAN independently of our internet. So we have our dedicated internet at each one of our offices, but we also have our VLAN that we all inter-office connect with.
They're not super common for homes. I know people that do use them in the homes, but it's more geared towards networks where security is a big concern. You need to basically be able to have a private network and a public network running over the same wire and same infrastructure.
Right. And our VLAN, and our VLAN also goes right into our data center too. So.
That's cool. How about
my
you?
D-Link router that I had actually had the capability for the guest network to be separate from my main network. So if somebody came into my house and they wanted Wi-Fi access to the internet, they would actually get onto this little VLAN, that the router produced.
That's cool. That's actually really cool.
A lot of routers are actually offering that now, which is nice.
Yep.
You can have a guest password, so nobody can
Separate
have access
from your
no
files.
one who's come over and visiting can have access to any of your computer networks and stuff. So.
You ready for another one?
Go for it.
All right, so we got Matthew asking, is it worth it getting an SSHD?
Oh, I was funny. I just read a question on the chat that was asking the same thing. Are SSHD hybrid drives, what are our opinions on them? I think it's a good option if you have, one, limited drive space, or two, limited funds in the sense that you don't want to have a larger SSD. And by larger, I mean 500 gig plus now, because let's face it, 500 gigs is still not a lot. And when games like Titanfall will eat up 10% of that alone before the cache partition.
Yeah.
So I think hybrid SSDs are nice because they'll give you that nice fast cache. They'll give you that nice partition to be able to put OS and stuff on. But the hard drive side of it will actually cache onto the SSD, which speeds it up quite a bit. So it's, in terms of speed too, it's also right in between an HDD as well as an SD. I personally don't use one simply because I've never had a need to. I just, when I run out of space on an SSD, I just throw another one in there. I don't even do RAID because I like to keep it simple. I have no reason
with
on my
SSD,
machine.
you really don't need to RAID. I mean, RAID will increase performance if you've got a fast enough controller.
Right.
But even when I ran them, you weren't getting double the performance.
See, I care about,
it wasn't really worth it.
As you know, I care about the appearance and the looks of my system. I mean, that system back there behind me, as you guys know, is nothing but an overhaul in terms of appearance. There's no performance gain whatsoever to the money he's dumping into that machine. And I'm the same way. So the only way to get true RAID performance is to go with a RAID controller card, which would kill the aesthetics of my machine.
True.
Ubu, how about you?
RAID and RAID performance type cards, or SSHD, you're saying?
SSHD, what's your opinion on?
I would say, if you're limited on space, then maybe the SSHD is a good option for you. But otherwise, just keep them separate. That's my opinion.
I think it's good if you, just like Jay said, if you want that fast, because the cool thing about SSDs, the big thing is the sustained throughput is awesome. You're not going to get that with an SSHD. You're not. If you're transferring gigabytes of data, it's going to fall off really quick when the cache is exhausted, basically.
Right.
But if what you're more worried about is opening things instantaneously and having like that look ahead cache capability, it's going to feel just like an SSD in that respect.
Yep.
And it's going to be far less. And again, storage comes into mind. I think I paid $400 for a 1 terabyte SSD, and you'd spend less, half that?
But you know what though? There's nothing wrong either with going with the proper Barracuda or Western Digital drive designed, because a lot of people don't understand. There's different designs of hard drives as well that are designed to do different types of data.
Yep. Just like memory, man, they range in performance hugely in several areas.
And so, I mean, I don't do any of my work, all of the YouTube stuff, that's all done on my hard drives. I don't do any work on my SSDs, period. It's my OS and some games and stuff on there. But all of my editing software, my After Effects, my Premiere Pro, Sony Vegas 13, all of that is located on my hard drives.
Yeah, I run a couple things, like I run Premiere. The entire Adobe CC suite I run off my SSD, but that's because I have a 1 terabyte SSD, but I have to still install all the games somewhere else.
Right.
Because like you said, the games are just, they're ridiculous. They're like vampires to hard drive space.
Do you want me to say something that's going to piss some people off?
Do it. I love it when you do that.
It's worth pissing people off, right? Ubu, what do you think?
Sure, go for it.
All right, so you guys know Skunkworks was just done last month. Beginning of July, end of June, right?
Yeah.
So I just got my emails today that my DDR4 kits, my X99, and my CPU are on their way.
Oh, gonna build another one.
I'm not building another one as much as I'm transplanting it into here. But that's not my fault, because if I had known it was that close, I honestly thought Q4. I thought we were talking Q4, like late Q4 on X99 launch. If I had literally known that I was going to be less than 60 days away from when X99 was actually going to come out, then I would not have built this now. I would have taken my own advice and waited.
Dude, my computer's starting to feel antiquated now. All right, hey, if you're listening, EVGA, Digital Storm, NVIDIA, anybody, hey, call me, okay? I need to build a computer.
But I still would not recommend it. X99, X79 I wouldn't recommend period now. But
well, no, the main reason I want to do it though, Jay, is to move the components from that over to my streaming box because my streaming box has a C960 first generation i7 and it's like garbage.
Right, and of course everything regarding the X99 CPUs is like still all speculatory because there's like no hard information out about it. I mean, we're in that total like gray area now where everyone's just guessing based on Intel's practices. But that 8-core CPU that everyone's talking about, man, I'm so tempted on it. But you know what? I'm such a numbers whore that low 3 gigabit or 3 gigahertz speed is bugging me.
Yeah, and the problem is the more cores you have, I mean, you're going to compromise overclockability. I mean,
you always 16 threads. Do you know what that'll do to my efficiency? I could actually make and render a video twice as fast. And you already know how fast I like to go through my workflow. Do you know what that would do? Do you know what that would do?
It would be fast.
No, realistically, in terms of the budget, though, it's not like I'm going to be able to go with that 8-core anyway. So.
Well, I'm still waiting to see if Intel's plan's still in effect because I remember reading a paper from Intel. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago that they said in the next 8 years they will have 32 core processors in desktop computers.
Yeah, they're not far away from that in terms of servers.
32 cores?
32 physical cores in desktop computing. That's what
it's going to be like that big.
How many years?
Die?
10 years? Did you say?
8 years, but I read it
8
like
years.
3 ago, so they should be like getting to 16 cores here pretty soon. Next couple of years.
They're going to have to eventually stop shrinking the die size, or they'll never fit it.
Well, the problem is they're hitting the upper cap of like how many megahertz these things can go. So now they're trying to go outward, right? More cores. They're trying to use efficient measures like hyperthreading.
Yeah, that's what me and my buddies were just talking about yesterday. With the last 3 generations of Intel chips, from Sandy to Ivy to now Haswell, you know, these chips, as far as overclocking capabilities, have not really increased. Isn't that a true statement?
No, it is.
I mean, the max you can get these chips to is a little over 5 or something.
Well, you're freaking hit. Yeah, it's like in the upper bands of 5, approaching 6, but. Yeah, you can only transfer, electrons so fast over copper. I mean, you eventually start hitting some walls there. But then we're going other directions now too. Like, did you hear about IBM's announcement that they created the new their first neural networking processor? I guess it's like slower than shit. It's not a conventional
like a human brain or some shit.
Yeah, it doesn't use it's not a conventional like binary type processor. It's actually using like it's a completely different architecture, like 100% from the ground up different, and even the programming for it's going to be completely different.
I see.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I see a lot of people like asking me what's going to happen with my Z97. My 4790K is going to be going over here. Along with my classified motherboard. I'll more than likely be giving away my mPower, but not to the internet, probably to someone locally. And my 4770K that's in there now, guys, it's being given away as a part of the fundraiser. I don't know if people notice that, but I'm pretty much giving away an entire...
Am I eligible for that at $10?
You are poor people. So you are no, it means you're eligible. I give to the needy. I am like the Robin Hood of PC parts.
Nice.
No, so guys, I am going to be giving away the 4770K, but not the 4790K. Absolutely not.
All right, we got a good question here. Is it bad to have a 4K wallpaper on a 1080 display? My answer to this is no. Actually, my answer is yes, and I'll tell you why. This is actually this is going to get a little nerdy for you, Jay. The reason being is the 4K wallpaper, basically, it's having every time you're refreshing your desktop or coming back to it, it's having to open that giant 4K file, read it in, run an algorithm to shrink it down, and then load it into memory for your wallpaper. So you're basically wasting resources. So from a resource consumption standpoint, it's bad. You should actually just take it into Photoshop, downscale the damn thing to 1080p, and then load it as your wallpaper. It'll look the same, and then you're not relying on the OS to basically take and have to crop that down by making it fit. Every time.
Or you could just run good hardware.
or you can just have a good computer and not even notice. Oh my gosh.
All right, I got to ask you guys. Paul's Hardware on Twitter asks, crumple or fold? Am I retarded and just don't know what that means, or what?
Don't fold the maps. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, that was a.
I mean, are we talking about money? Are we talking about clothes? Crumple or fold? Do you guys know what that means? Because I thought you're familiar with Paul's Hardware.
Oh, he's talking about when you wipe your ass. He's got to be talking about when you wipe your ass.
Oh, that could be.
Oh, I'm a crumpler, dude.
No,
I'm a crumpler.
I'm all about. No, I'm all about like pinching it between these fingers and then going around the hand.
This is how I get my toilet paper, guys, and you're gonna love this. I grab the sheet hanging off the roll and I go like this. I pull it really fast like a ripcord and I go, boo, and I put my hand out like this and it just piles up in my hand. Then I just go rip it off and just start scrubbing on that sumbitch.
So you got like a TP loofah.
Wow. I don't have such technique that Jerry does. I just grab a pile and
dude, it's
crumple.
like yo-yo. You just. I feel like an X-Men when I'm doing
like
it too.
Spider-Man, yeah, pulling it back in, or Scorpion. Get over here!
I should Instagram that now. I'm gonna go Instagram my toilet paper technique.
Oh my gosh, nice.
Oh, or if you don't put the toilet paper on the roll, like sometimes people get lazy, mainly me, and like stick it up next to the thing. Then my technique for that is I just stick my finger down through the top like this while it's sitting on the ledge, and then just ripcord that sumbitch like I'm starting the lawnmower and it comes off the side. Nice. I've got a whole technique. I should do a jerry rigged on that.
Oh boy,
a jerry rigged on how to get your toilet paper. Oh my god. But that technique doesn't work in public restrooms where they use that really, really thin shit where you if you pull on it more than like
half the time the bowl won't even spin because it's pinched so much that it won't even spin.
Yeah, so you got to reach up there and like tug with your fingers.
Right,
so
yeah, exactly.
How did this turn into TP Talk?
Yeah, sorry. All right, switching time.
At least it was a technical TP Talk.
Yeah. Oh man, everyone! It's funny too. So many people were in the chat are either laughing their head off or they're like seriously grossed out.
Yeah, somebody said, please don't make a jerry rig on how you get your toilet paper. Okay, I won't. Jeez.
All right. Oh, hey, you're only 367 likes away from dumping water on your head.
Come on, guys. Let's see that 1,500 likes. If you can get there before you end the stream, I'm getting up out of this chair right after the stream ends, and you will see an Instagram a couple of minutes later of me soaking wet with ice water.
I've got to go for about an extra 10 minutes now because of Ubo causing us to start late.
Yeah,
Bill Gates. Blame Bill Gates.
Actually, we can't blame Bill Gates because if he was actually driving the ship, Microsoft wouldn't suck so bad right now. Blame Satya.
Tell us how you really feel, Jerry.
Dude, don't get me wrong. I still like Windows, but at the same time, I'm like,
he dumps a bucket of ice water on his head just to get some of the tension away from the negative.
Yeah, I know. The mighty have fallen, huh?
Yeah.
You guys have been looking for an opportunity to troll me. Now's the time to do it, right? Kick me while I'm down. Jeez.
I haven't been seeing any more questions come through the comments live since we went to TP Talk. So what about Twitter?
Let's see. Okay, no, we got tons of stuff on Twitter here. So
let's go through
let's see. Let's see. Akil says, if I build a PC and buy a touchscreen monitor, will it work with the Metro interface? Absolutely. That's the only reason touchscreen PCs even exist is for that damn Metro interface. And honestly, you'll use it for like 15 minutes and then get bored with it and never use it again.
No, you'll get tired of having to clean your monitor constantly.
No, the whole that whole desktop thing of like having to hold your arm out, like especially if you're American, we're not designed to hold our arms out in front of us for more than like a couple seconds. So it's like, it gets hard. But
my girlfriend's mom actually just bought a touchscreen computer, and I'm shocked that for the last 3 weeks, I still go over there and see her solely using the touchscreen. I'm just like shocked by it. Even typing. Wow. I'm like, how are you typing? The thing is almost vertical. And
okay, if you're like a brand new person,
and I don't get it.
Right?
She's not very right. She's not very computer literate.
Yeah, I'm guessing she doesn't type more than like. Did she type like one word a minute? Is she one of those kind of typers, Hunt Pecker?
That's fast.
I see.
1 word a minute. Is
some people are asking like why we're only doing Twitter questions. Well, one, Twitter's a lot easier to manage. Two, Twitter doesn't scroll up at 500 comments a second.
Yeah. I have a question then if you guys don't have one from Twitter.
Yeah, take it.
All right, we have Azure Ninja 99. How do you recommend backing up a PC? Well, there's several different ways to look at a backup. Whether you're talking maybe a permanent schedule where it backs it up weekly or even nightly or once a month, or like more in-depth backup to where you're actually cloning the entire drive for safety.
Right.
So maybe you do that not quite as often as you would do like a regular backup of things that you don't want to lose. But I would say that's one thing that everybody probably doesn't pay enough attention to is their backups.
I used to use Acronis to do not a nightly, but like a weekly clone of my drive, and it cloned it onto a second drive that did nothing but sit there as a backup. I don't do it anymore because as much as I love my Case Labs case, the weak link of this case is that it only allows me to have 2 hard drives and 4 SSDs total in there. And I used to clone my SSD to a hard drive partition. And I used to have it be a standalone drive that was separate, so just for the sake of reliability. But unfortunately, with the way that this case is configured at its $700 price tag, it only fits 2 HDDs. So
I do all my backups. Like if I'm actually doing a backup of an entire system, I basically boot off of a Norton Ghost disk, or I'll use like the Ultimate Boot disk and use one of the backup programs. On
Ultimate Boot disk. Ultimate Boot disk is fantastic too in terms of also fixing virus issues.
You can literally do anything. Ultimate Boot Disk is awesome. I actually put it on. I have it on one of my USB thumb drives, and I use that thing all the time. Oh my god,
that is an essential part of the IT tech kit.
We have a controversial comment. You ready?
Uh-oh.
You ready? From Chloe Martin. She said you can have a heart attack doing the ice bucket thing. Guy in NZ died doing it.
Well, you kind of need to know your health too going into it.
So I just want you guys to know that if you want me to die, you should probably hit that like button,
guys. Jerry getting laid off, like, propelled him into the clouds. Jerry dying would just be a legend.
Yep. So let's do it. Let's make me a legend. 1,500, and I think the odds are probably
I can
pretty
see
low,
it now.
I got a strong heart on me. I mean, it's been driving this sumbitch for
I
like
could
years,
see it
right?
now. Jerry, I can see it now. Jerry dies, gets 10,000 subs a day, and everyone wonders where the new content is.
I'd still get trolled every day on Twitter. I could make my bio on there. I died pouring ice over my head. They'd be like, "When's the new video coming out?"
Where's the video of Jerry dying?
Dude, I love my subs. My
if
subs are
you
awesome.
die, Jerry, can I upload the video on my channel?
Absolutely.
You heard
Absolutely.
it. Exclusive.
Yep. You guys, if I die during the ice bucket challenge, Jay assumes all rights and controls of the video.
Billy Bob says, Jay, yeah. Best $200 BF4 GPU, please reply. I am replying to you right now. The best $200 BF4 GPU for a 1080p monitor or lesser is quite honestly the 270X from AMD.
Oh, I was going to say Xbox 360. No, I'm just kidding.
That is actually a valid response.
It is. Like,
yeah,
don't buy
R9 270X, any of them, don't care which one, any of them, $200 or less. For 1080p, best you can do for that price. Jay, go here, straw poll me. Nope, I don't click scary links.
Ooh, I like this one. Seth Pretty says, what are your thoughts on SSD RAID 0? Because we were still talking about this. Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't
it's so
do it.
unreliable.
I screwed myself so hard. Problem with RAID 0 is now you have two drives that if one of them fails, you've doubled your odds of losing everything.
Yeah.
Don't ever do it. One time I even had 4 drives in a RAID 0 just because I wanted a really fast throughput drive, and one of them developed bad sectors 7 months down the road, took out the entire set. It was unrecoverable.
Yeah. RAID 0 is all about speed and bragging rights, but it's zero reliability.
RAID 0 is good for caching drives and scratch disks. That's it.
That's why it's called zero. It has zero reliability.
I like that. That's actually good.
Oh. JJ, go here. No, I'm not. Xbox 360 Hacks wants me to click his link.
Yeah. He's got hacks in his name, and definitely know it's a viable link.
I just got a message from viruses.com wants me to click.
Hey, hold on, guys. The Nigerian prince needs to deposit money into my account. Let me respond to this real quick.
Let me just give him my routing number.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
All right. Apple Dev Fan has asked us, have any of us used Hiren's boot CD for repairs?
Yeah,
I can say that I have not used it.
I never heard of it till now.
I use System Rescue whenever I need to fix someone's computer.
Now, if I recall, Hiren's, I haven't used it in years. I remember we used to use it back, God, when I worked at Mother's Board Computers, that little mom and pop computer stop. So it's old. Wasn't Hiren's based off of, wasn't it a Windows build? I think it was.
Brian Fay says, Ubuntu, stop smoking. You know what my response to that is? He can smoke if he fucking wants to smoke. As much as I don't care for smoking myself, it's not your business or my business to tell him what to do.
I do appreciate the concern. Thank you. And that's enough said on that topic.
Ubu's having an earthquake. Ubu's having an earthquake.
Oh, sorry. I was shaking my desk.
Don't scare me like that. It's California around here.
That wouldn't happen here in Wisconsin, up north here.
Every time you mention Wisconsin and Milwaukee, I think about the fact that I'm going back to Chicago, and it's like, I didn't realize how close Chicago actually is to the Wisconsin border because I had to drive to it when I was out there. It's scary.
Yep, Chicago's like an hour and a half away from me, approximately.
Quit being fags and let the man smoke like a man. Exactly.
I just looked up the Hiren's boot CD. No, it was exactly what I was thinking. It's basically like, I think it's like a Windows like XP based solution, or even earlier.
Yeah. Higher end is a mix of stuff. It has Windows XP Mini and also GParted.
Yep. And it's got like every single freaking app. Like I'm looking at the screenshots right now. It looks like it has CC Cleaner.
I have to
it has
thank
all the antivirus.
I have to thank Tanner in chat for making me
cool.
sound smart for a second, because I just read his comment as if I knew.
I'm downloading that. That's actually really cool. That actually looks like it may even be more capable than the Ultimate Boot Disk.
Jay and Jerry,
thank you for pointing that out, Apple Dev fan. Just wanted to say that real quick.
WeGaz22 says, Jay and Jerry, what are triple screens like to live with every day? If you're on NVIDIA, they can be a pain in the ass.
They're
like
awesome.
I had to actually disable surround to do this stream today, because surround, when you have surround on, there's some sort of transparency issue with the screens where if I have Skype video up or any sort of video, they start to flicker like a disco ball and just start flashing everywhere until I disable surround and just enable all 3 monitors, and they work fine.
Oh, Jay, this is an important one, man.
Oh.
Swashin just said, when are you going to be on Pimp My Setup?
Who, me?
Yeah.
They weren't even, last time I looked, they weren't even following me. I didn't know I was supposed to.
I think you need to be on Pimp My Setup. I think we both should be on Pimp My Setup.
Every time you've been on the show, I always go and look. I'm like, are these guys following?
Wait.
Nope. Okay, then I guess.
Swashin. What?
Go ahead, Jerry. No, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Jay and I need to do a Pimp My Setup. Let's make it happen. Make it happen.
I'm down.
But I guess I'd like to point out that I think Jay is the last person that needs his PC pimped. You already got.
Well, it's not just a PC thing. It's like
we judge other people's setups. It's a show where we judge other people's pimped out setups.
And I don't have any.
Gotcha.
And I honestly don't have anything spectacular in terms of like monitors and stuff. Like the spare rig over here is nothing to complain about. I mean, shit, it's better than a lot of people's rigs. This machine over here is just stupidly awesome. If it wasn't for the fact that I built it at a review product, I wouldn't have it. But like my monitors and stuff, I've actually been torn, Jerry, on picking up a new triple setup of the BenQ 144 hertz monitors, 27-inch, but $430 a piece gives me a stroke at the thought.
What's the res on them? Are they 1080?
They're 1080p, but they're 144 hertz.
Jeez, that would... God, at 27, that's almost big enough that I would even consider a setup like that.
But
like
we're talking $430 per monitor.
Dude, I paid like $1,200 to monitor for mine back when I bought them.
Yeah, but that doesn't really apply today, does it?
No, it doesn't.
I don't know. Guys, right now when it comes to monitor setups, I'm just using some cheap Acer panels. They're 1080p, 60 hertz panels. They actually don't tear. I put up a video of me, the Instagram of 200 frames per second, and someone even noticed, like, dang, your monitors aren't tearing. For the price, $130 a panel, these Acers, I'm telling you right now, best bang for the buck monitors I've ever owned. The problem with them, for me, is their color on them is not like editing worthy. That's why sometimes I look like an alien when I go to other monitors. I'm like, oh, yeah, I should probably get better color panels.
Yeah, and honestly, with TVs, I'm not all that color correct myself over here.
No, Jerry, you really do look like that. I met you. Jay's gay. No, actually, my daughter is right here. She proves I'm not.
No, he's gay. I was down there. He is. He's raging.
Whatever.
Hey, I'm the one trying to give Tyler Oakley a piggyback ride at Vlogger Fair this Saturday. So
just slip that plug in there.
I got a question from CN from the 389. He says, "What is the one thing an ultimate battle station must include?" And I have to admit, I actually replied and said, what is an ultimate battle station? And he replied back with a link to some crazy 6-monitor setup, blah, blah, blah. So I guess his question is, what's the one thing that a major setup needs? The one thing that it needs? Like, I don't, I would say graphics card, I guess.
Integrated toilet.
Integrated. There you go.
A Hot Pocket dispenser.
It comes out of where the optical drive would be.
I guess mine would have to be an ashtray. It needs an ashtray for me. So there you got your answer there, buddy.
Oh boy.
No, that's kind of a loaded question though, because it's like the whole idea of you having a battle station already implies that you have something pretty amazing. So like, I guess he's kind of saying like, what does every battle station need? Like, what makes it a battle station?
I think anyone who sets out to actually build the ultimate battle station up front, it's going to find that over time that they're going to change it around anyway. So the ultimate battle station to me is an evolution of a battle station.
Yeah.
I mean, go back and look at my channel 2 years ago. I think Ubu, you were one of my early followers. I think I had less than 1,000 when I met you.
Yes. Yeah.
And
it was thanks to Holiday Doc. He tweeted you out one time and started watching Tech Talk. Yeah.
So if you look at my setup back then versus today, it's clearly evolved like 4 or 5 different generations worth of evolution.
Yeah.
You know? And I even have another desk. I mean, look, you see that PC back there sitting on another desk? I have 4 desks in this room. Because I kept outgrowing the space. Oh, and like I think the next logical step now for me, Jerry, is just to go buy an office building.
You should.
Right?
Should.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, here's a good one. John says, if you had to get rid of one of your electronics, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's a good question.
I can answer that right now.
What?
It would be this thing right here that she's watching. Honestly, because the
iPad or
it's a first generation iPad. Was mint condition when I gave it to her. The first day she had it, she dropped it on the tile floor, and it's got a crack going right through the screen.
You know
so
what
I would get rid of it for the purposes of getting the screen repaired.
Guess what my choice would be, Jay? Guess.
Fleshlight.
Give you a hint. Shut up, dude. Fleshlight's not technology.
Sure it is.
And I would never
get rid of that. Who are you kidding, Jay? That's
dude. I don't want to get rid of that.
Right.
I just want to get like 2 more.
That's right.
Trois or whatever it is.
You guys heard they have a Fleshlight app. You guys heard they have a Fleshlight app now, right? That's supposed
Dude, not even the app. Did you see the cover for the iPad that they have that holds the damn thing?
Yeah, I did. And I guess it's supposed to like on the screen like something's supposed to happen based on the intensity of which the device is being used.
Really?
I have to admit, somebody on Twitter linked me the article, and they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh, I have to read this."
Yeah, I thought I saw something about that where you have this app on your phone, and it controls the intensity of the device when it's up against. It could be up against your woman. You know, you give her this little whatever dildo, and it's actually controlled by an app, so you could have it go faster, slower, and they called it like virtual sex.
Technology.
Yeah, because that's all we need is another device for the man to be replaced with.
So this is what I'd give up, Jay. I'd give this up.
What is it?
It's a Lumia 1520.
Oh, okay.
It's my Windows phone.
Gotcha. Man.
See,
yeah, don't worry, guys. My daughter cannot hear any of this. Okay. So some people are like, "Really? You're talking about this with your daughter?" She can't hear any of this.
Yeah. Man, what electronics device I would give up?
How about them Turtle Beaches? Get something new.
Yeah, I know, right? I've had them forever. Oh my gosh. Probably my HD PVR.
What would you go with? Something like an Elgato? I mean, don't you have an Elgato?
I have an Elgato, yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. I don't know. There's nothing really I want to give up, to be honest. If I had to, I had no choice.
Yeah, you have no choice.
Okay. And it's something electronic that I use all the time.
Yeah. Don't like just say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna throw away that old joystick that's been sitting in the closet for like 15 years." Don't. It's gotta be something you use.
It'd probably be my Xbox. I really don't use it that much anymore.
Whoa, that's actually saying a lot because most of your gameplays came from Xbox.
Yeah. Yep. I'm slowly
all of your Crysis gameplay came from Xbox.
Yeah.
Well, but that's because over the last 6 months or so, you've made that transition to a newer gen PC, and so you're starting to get to experience today's titles the way they're meant to be played.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
He's waiting for the Linux gaming console. This is what he's waiting for.
No, I don't think I'd buy. I'm not going to buy into the Steam boxes. I mean, I think it's great, that they're going to be coming out in 2015, just because it'll give Linux, a broader eye to the public. Which it's what it's needed, but the Steam box is nothing more than just a compact computer with Linux running, SteamOS.
Get an Ouya. Get an Ouya. I think you'd be the only person on earth that would actually like Ouya.
Okay, well, let's each take one more question each, and then we have to wrap it up for the show.
All right, Robert, what is best, Mac or Windows?
Well, that's kind of a weird question, though, don't you think? Shouldn't it actually be PC or Mac at that point, or should it be Windows or OS 10 Lion, OS 10?
Well, just to be perfectly clear, Macs and PCs from a hardware perspective, they're the same architecture.
Yeah, because I actually ran my MacBook Pro almost. Yeah. I had it boot camped, and I practically ran Windows full time on it.
Yeah, it's in the same thing. You can Hackintosh it. You can basically just break the DMG for OS X and put it on any PC you want. So So yeah, the question is it Windows or OS 10?
But the kernel is very CPU dependent as well. It's only recently that AMD Hackintosh has even been a thing because of some third-party kernels. Like you couldn't just stick it on an AMD machine; the OS literally wouldn't work.
Oh no, correct. There are limited machines that can actually run it, but basically all you need is a machine that has EFI and actually has.
That's why that Mac Pro version of the GTX 680 was like $250 more than the PC 680 because it had that Mac approved built into the BIOS.
And it was probably white.
No, it actually looked exactly like the other one.
Oh, did it really?
Yep.
All right. So what's your last question, Jay?
So this is actually a good one because we talked about panels. Adrian Rivas 200 says projectors or monitors. Now here's the thing: projectors are. I've seen some people do this actually, where they'll have a triple projector set up with a 27 or a 30 or even a 32-inch like panel, like flat panel designed for projectors, and you can have a seamless surround without bezels.
Yeah.
The problem is it only works if you're in a windowless room. And the moment you turn on those projectors, your contrast ratio goes to crap due to reflectance. So if you can live with horrible contrast, then it's actually pretty cool. If you can also deal with not having anything in line of sight of the projector. If you're just projecting it on the wall, you're going to have even worse contrast than if you were projecting it on 3 small panels in front of you.
It does depend on the screen though, because like me, I have one of the SG Diamond back screens are like $3,000 screen, but it basically has off-axis light rejection so that you don't have the contrast problem. Like it can do perfect black as long as the room is like medium light.
I have a friend of mine that also in his brand new house actually has a small theater room set up. When his house was built, it was built specifically for it. It's got a 104-inch screen on there. I think it's the same brand. He was talking about his new screen.
Yeah, SG and Stewart are the two big leaders in the really super expensive, stupid.
He told me too. It was like some $2,000 screen that he got for $200 from a place going out of business.
Oh, lucky him! Oh my God, I had to pay full retail.
The problem with his room is because what it is in this house, they basically altered the floor plan. So where 2 bedrooms had a wall knocked down in between, so it's a long room. So it's kind of narrow, and the screen is only about a foot from either wall on either side. So he does get reflectance off of those side walls.
Yeah. No,
so,
that
so
sucks.
he asked me too. He's like, "How can I fix that?" I said, "You really want to make this place look like a theater?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Anything?" He's all, "Anything." I said, "Paint the walls black."
Yep. Paint them flat black.
Exactly.
I made the mistake of using shiny black ones, and that didn't go over very well.
All right, my last question. I'm actually going to have to refer to Jay to get his answer because I don't know the answer. But Griffin Chris 18, he's asking me for some reason, can you use a water block that not a GTX 760 reference design if you don't have a reference design? I don't really know if that's worded correctly.
I think he's asking you because he feels he has a better chance of getting the question through.
Well, I have a GTX 760, maybe. Well, but yeah, and that's another point. Probably that I'll see the question versus you. So, can you use a water block that not a GTX 760 reference design if you don't have a reference design? He didn't word it very well.
I don't know if there's some grammatical things there, so I'll address both sides of that question then.
All right.
If you have a GTX 760 reference card, first of all, I do not believe... Actually, they do. I take that back. There are brands out there that make a full cover water block. If you have a card that is reference meaning it is the copy of the NVIDIA's diagram sent to the manufacturers for redevelopment, or for being built off of a blueprint. Most companies will take the blueprint, redesign it, fix it, make it better than reference, and charge $50, $75 more depending on the model. Okay, right. So those PCBs will not match. So if you have a reference 760, you cannot install a non-reference 760 block and vice versa. If you have say a 760, well, the Mars edition is the dual 760, but let's say you have a 760 like DCU2 from Asus. It is not a reference PCB, therefore you could not take a 760 reference block from like EK or AlphaCool and stick it on there. It won't actually line up with the components, and you'll cause damage even by trying. Because you could crush a cap, you could crush a transistor or something.
Well, there you go, Griffin Chris 18. There's your answer.
So the next question that confuses people with it though is how do they know if they have something referenced? Here's the bottom line: if the thing, it doesn't matter if it's EVGA or if it is MSI, Gigabyte, whatever. If it says GTX 760 and there's no custom name after it, it's more than likely reference. If it's like 760 Ti DCU Copper 2, it's a custom PCB. If it's EVGA Superclock, it's just a faster clocked reference card. If it's a GTX 760, in fact, I don't think EVJ even makes any non-reference ones. So another example would be Gigabyte. The Gigabyte WindForce OC, that's a custom PCB.
Sure. Okay, makes sense.
Most places, when they have their description of the card, most companies anyway will put somewhere in there, this is based on reference design or it's a custom PCB. They kind of want to advertise this is custom because it's their way of saying we've improved it.
Ours is better, right? Yeah,
right.
It's better. Yeah, exactly. Gotcha.
So that's that. All right, guys. Well, it's funny too. The comment section crashed for me because it's going too fast. Guys, 120 likes away. We didn't quite make it, Jerry. Unless we get 120 likes right now. When are you going to do the ALS then?
I'll probably do it tomorrow during the day.
All right.
So that my wife and kid can't like just go outside and laugh at me when I go do it right now.
Where are you going to do it? On your channel or Instagram or?
I think I'll probably just Instagram it because it's going to be a really short thing. I'm not going to make a whole video on it.
All right. Well, guys, thank you, Ubu, for hanging out with us tonight. I know you want to get back on the channel for a while.
Thank you for having me back on, guys. I really appreciate it. It was a good time tonight.
Sorry it took so long to get you back. It actually channel.
I apologize. Yeah.
No, the channel too, or not the channel, but the show has actually been growing a lot lately, so it's actually getting difficult to get things lined up. Believe it or not. You know, I have a lot of companies that are now emailing me wanting to get on this show, but I don't know. I think I kind of like keeping it YouTuber based. I know about you, Jerry,
that's
but
cool.
I like it being YouTuber based. So guys, go and follow Ubuntuaddicted on pretty much all of the social networks are the same name. His Vine, his. Do you have an Instagram, Ubu?
No, that I do not have. I stuck with Vine. Yep, and Twitter.
I would get on that Instagram bandwagon too. But anyway, Twitter, his YouTube channel, go and check him out, guys. He does a lot of gameplays and stuff. Ubu, you need to start uploading regularly again, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I took a little break. Yep, had some real life stuff to take care of, but I should be back at it right here shortly. Yep.
All right. Well, you missed the intro, so you get to do the outro song because that's the tradition. While we're playing the outro, you just got to come up with some lyrics or something. The hard part is you're not even going to hear it, so you're going to be doing it completely deaf and blind.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's a new tradition. We started with Paul's Hardware. We did it with Ballistic. I did it last week as Arnold.
Yeah, you guys took too long to wrap it up. We did hit 1,500.
Oh, perfect.
Now, Jerry, look at that, 1,507. There you go.
That was my plan all along, actually. I was just going to be like... All right, guys. Follow us all on Twitter and Ubu. When I say I'm going to roll that outro, you've got to come up with some improv lyrics.
One second. Okay, so guys, you're obviously going to see an Instagram of me dumping a bucket of ice water over my head. So go check my Instagram. It's Instagram.com/Barnacles. And you'll probably see it in the next 10 minutes, I'm guessing.
All right, Ubu.
Wearing this shirt.
All right, we're gonna roll that outro, and you got to go until I say stop. Roll that outro.
All right, thanks everybody for coming to the show. You waiting for tech, and you love to watch Barnacles and JayzTwoCents. Hopefully you come again to this great show because technology is what we got for you. And
all right,
this is
good job.
That was hard.
Thanks for that freestyle. All right,
we love it. It's like the more ridiculous, the better, dude. We're loving this.
All right, we're out of here, guys.
All
See
right,
you later.
thanks, guys. Take care.